got a lot of friends, and they can have my things when we're dead. But we gonna live forever.
The Boyscast, almost New Year's. I've made the resolution that I'm going to stop punching the elderly.
You're going to stop. When was the last time?
You say you were going to stop Asian hating, right? That's what you sort of said.
I stop Asian hate, hashtag. When was the last elderly you punched?
I don't, you know what, I can't keep track of them anymore, and that's the thing.
In Canada?
Danny's thing is he's going to eat 6 things of lard a day instead of 7, and...
Like me some good lard. Boys.
My New Year's resolution is more fat jokes. We are back from the communist hellhole.
Oh my God.
That is,
dude, you
Toronto,
understand?
Canada.
Dude, I brought my girlfriend with me, and the whole time I'd be like, it's not this crappy, I swear. Like, I had to apologize non-stopping. Like, I'm telling you, it's better than this. Like,
well, you couldn't take her to your usual spots, the bathhouse, the lard factory,
the rendering plant,
the big and tall store, dressing room where you go for a quickie.
I did take her to the Nestle factory where they make the Kit Kats. Like, can you smell the chocolate in there?
There you go. I don't think I told you about this, but before we get into stuff, there's a few pretty funny Toronto things. I met so I was hanging out with Paul's buddy, who's like the most Mr. Canada, right?
Yeah.
Perry Sound. I won't say his name, but the pretty solid dude.
His name is Perry Sound.
Yeah, we'll call him Perry Sound. So fucking me and Paul and Perry are hanging out, right? This guy's every second word's buddy. You know, everything's like that. Like, we fucking tuning this up, tuning that up. But he's in the army, right? And me and Paul.
That busts your kind of thing where you don't know people in the army in Canada.
I know. This guy, well, that's the thing. I maybe didn't know enough Perry Sound.
Did he go like, hey, I'm in the army? And you're like, you sure about that?
Yeah, you sure, bud?
Sure, bud?
So this guy, this is the type of dude that he was trying to get me to go in the forest with him and Paul, and they blow up propane tanks. And
I saw Paul's Instagram where he was shooting. Yeah, he's there now shooting.
They keep sending me Instagram stories. But the best is this guy, he was telling me his army stories, and he's like, this is what he says. He goes, we're in the So yeah, I had to do a couple little rips down there, right? So me and the fucking boys went down there. We were in Russia for a bit, got in a bit of a scrap there. He called a war a scrap. Yeah, me and the Taliban just had to go fucking buckets and gloves.
Did I miss that news cycle where Canada was at war with Russia?
No. Some of the troops went in there for some Russia thing. I think it was an Afghanistan
war games
or Ukraine sort of situation. The Canada boys got sent in there.
Some peacekeeping.
No, they went in there. Yeah, well, that's the thing. I was loving the idea of the Canadian Army after they fucking. So we're fighting, right? The Taliban's just fucking eating it, right?
We're fucking mucking barn.
Yeah. And then after it's done, like you shoot all the Taliban, and then you come up, you're trying to be like, good fucking fight out there, like trying to squash the beef.
Yeah, boys, get in the line. Like the hockey lineup at the end goes, boys, get in the line. We're fucking doing this classy, okay? Fucking line her up.
That's the way he was talking about it.
Good war.
He really was. He's like, on the first day, we were kind of eating it, right? But then we just started feeding them. Dude, I'm telling you, I was fucking dying. Did you just call a war a scrap? And then that got me thinking when we were at the corner. I went to the corner a lot of times after you were gone, but we were fucking talking about Rowley, who's the second most Canadian guy I know after this guy.
Rowley's actually takes our buddy Rick Rowley takes a real
Rowley's faking it, right? If Rowley's talking normally, he's not as much. Like our buddy Rick Rowley puts it on kind of the way that like a gangster's like, yeah, you know.
I mean, he's literally trying to be like a hockey personality.
So when he goes home,
and he occasionally does like some barstool stuff, like the spit and chicklets. So and they're Americans, so he's like, oh, fucking Rick from Oshawa. And he
plays a retard, basically. He goes, oh, fucking, I'm just fucking struggling to get my helmet off. You play hockey today? No, I just wear it around the house, So he goes like, he's like that, right? But the funny story was one of our other buddies that we were just dying about. So this is 2 years ago, and our buddy was telling us, he goes, yeah, back in the day, a few years ago, I was in a relationship with a man. And you know who this is, but he's basically he's like, yeah, and then I've never, I was always, people were mean to me, and then this is the first guy that ever treated me right, and we ended up having a relationship, and I went home, and he sucked me off, and then everyone's sort of standing there, no one really knows what to say, because it's kind of not the crowd for this, he's not in the right group of things to get the pats on the back that he wants, and then as this is going, it kind of goes silent, and Rick Rowley goes, couldn't you just bought him a beer or something? I don't know if you need to do all that.
Yeah, Rick. That's literally like Rick's fucking. What is the conversion therapy? He goes,
Yeah.
You were sending our kids to Rick Rowley's conversion therapy, and he just buys them beers.
He goes, every time you're thinking about sucking a guy off, you don't have to do all that. You just buy him a brew.
Just fucking buy him a beer.
Just buy him a Coors Light, and then
Down it and fucking go watch some Leafs reruns.
you're pretty good to go at that point. It was like big pop.
Yeah.
Couldn't you just bought him a beer or something?
Remember where he was doing fucking stand up, and then I go, hey, just because he was like, he would start so weird, and everybody's like, what's wrong with this guy? And I go, hey, just at the beginning of your set, just be like, just so you know I'm not retarded. Remember I told him that, and he started doing it, and he was killing so hard that he had to stop doing it because he didn't like how hard it was killing. And he was like, I just said, look, just like when you get that awkward pause, just be like, just so you know I'm not retarded, and like explosive laughter. And then he did it so many times, he goes like, I don't like how this makes me feel. How well this is doing.
Yeah, it's like the huge fat guy being like, obviously I'm gross. And
Yeah,
everyone
yeah,
goes,
yeah.
no, it's funny because it's true. People slap in their chairs and stuff.
The problem was like, because he turned it on so much, and then I was like, there are some people who are like unsure what's
is it
going
okay
on.
to laugh at this? This is a Make-A-Wish
Yeah,
situation.
yeah, exactly.
But I'll tell you one thing about Canada. People are not happy there from...
No.
Like, there's a few people still that are getting their free money and whatever. They're go, okay, whatever, shut us down if you want to shut us down. I don't like working. But for the most part, without saying anything about what I think or anything like that, from talking to like a cab driver, dude who works at a store, you know I'm chatty with the
Yeah, of
people. You know
course.
I'm a man of the people.
Man of the people, right along.
I do get chatting with people. We even went to this like underground bar, you know?
Yeah.
Because
Hey, you know what? I must say it's funny though that you're like, yeah, all the people who are trying to work still are unhappy with having everything shut. You're like, yeah, it's a fucking nightmare.
no, but even normal people in my family.
Your family's-
I don't think I'm.
Is your mom getting red pilled a bit?
Oh, she's fucking flipped, buddy.
Has she?
She's about to start
Is
sending
MAGA
me,
hats?
she's about to start sending me Steve Bannon videos, dude. Yeah, but she really was like, this was her last straw, right?
Yeah.
But everyone's like that, except for a few people that are like with the program. I would say, and this is not a group of people that I'm like talking to comics at the fucking Edgy Boy Club.
Yeah,
you know?
of course.
I'm talking to across the board. Every person that was kind of on board with the program is like, this is crazy.
Yeah. It's getting a lot too, where they're just, I mean, everybody's like, we're going to do another lockdown every December, lockdown.
It's almost like both sides, because there's a million people that are super fucking liberal that are so flipped on this stuff. And then because most people don't really give a shit about being right or left, right?
Yeah.
And then there's a million conservatives that are like old conservatives that actually are pretty like safe and for lockdowns and all that stuff, but they have to pretend that they don't.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a couple people that are like politically minded that have to lie to make their team happy.
Yeah, of course.
But everyone else in the middle, I think, is fucking over.
Yeah,
it.
they're just like, what the? Well, a lot of them too is they're like, they were promised. They say, look, once we hit this vaccine, you go, you get the vaccine, we'll get out of the woods. We'll be out of the woods. And they go, okay, I got it. And they
9
go,
more.
No, but they're like, we were very like obeyed. We did all the stuff you asked us to do. We didn't make a
That's
stink.
how they feel, yeah.
That's how they think. And they're like, now we're here, and they're like, oh, okay, we were lied to.
Yeah. And there's Israel's on their 9th right now. They're fucking getting them in there.
Yeah, them in there. Yeah.
But and I'm talking to this Cuban dude who I know. I won't rat him out, but he was giving me
Cuban B?
Yeah, he's basically like, I can't. You know, he married a girl at the resort and came over here. He
yeah.
living the dream, right? And then he met this girl, and he got like moved to Canada, and he's like, oh, I came to North America for freedom, sort of thing. And then he's basically like saying he's getting out of there. And then one thing he said is, and this is another guy told me this too, it's somewhere else, but apparently in Canada and America, there's all these borders that you can just walk across or drive across.
I mean, Canada and America
Montreal
is literally the world's largest like unguarded border.
It is. So people they just drive up to Sherbrooke and then they just walk across.
Yeah, you walk. Dude, I actually looked because when I was driving back, I had to figure out like I wanted to see the crossing times or whatever.
Yeah.
And you can get the list of all the land crossings in Canada. It's like 12.
Yeah.
Right? It's
They're
like, think how
unguarded.
long that thing
But
is.
some people, because if you're like applying for visas or green cards, you're not really supposed to be going back and forth.
Yeah.
They just apply for their shit and go use those, even though they probably could get across. They just don't want to be tracked.
Yeah, of
like
course.
that.
They just walk across. I mean, you do run the risk that they have like, motion sensor cameras and stuff. Remember there's a thing too for a while where all the fucking like illegal immigrants were coming in from Central America and they were getting into America and then they were crossing over into Canada.
Yeah,
they were
yeah,
just
yeah.
walking across
That's
like
the
it was
move.
like a little like pond, like a brook, and they just like cross this brook and they go,
Dude,
I'm
you
in
guys,
Canada
they're
now."
just cracking a few brews and walking across the border.
Yeah, and then they go, "Yeah, I'm here."
But yeah, so anyways, the last thing is had that fucking sketch right and left sponsors or whatever that kind of popped off on the internet.
That was very funny.
Thank you. And it did
That was like honestly like it was so like just the whole thing was so well done.
did a couple milli, right? And then so whenever that happens, it becomes a big
Of
like.
course.
There's always people yelling and arguing with you and whatever. Couple cool things is like Rob Schneider posted it and some shit like that.
Yeah.
The fucking copy man.
Glenn Greenwald making copy.
Yeah, Greenwald was one where it's like I gotta.
He
beat
used it
Greenwald.
for this like really long-winded.
Well, that's what everyone did. Like so many people. I've never seen, even on all the other things I've done, I don't think any one of my sketches, and it was basically right-wing sponsors, left-wing sponsors, if you haven't seen it, I don't think anyone, and this is the thing about satire, has used my sketches to misinterpret my mening like more.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then because all the people and then Glenn Greenwald was like, see, this is proof that fucking, that liberals are bad or whatever. And I was like, I mean, it's kind of funny that they're both like, it's also funny that people are selling
like these
Patriot spoons.
literally because they can't get corporate funding, they're just making up nonsense to sell. Like,
Yeah, but there's also like, funniness in like hawking like shit that's garbage as well.
Yeah, of course.
Right? And then, but the point was that, so then that happened and all the left-wing people started being like, well, this is not actually left-wing, this is liberal, blah, blah. And it's like, that was the interesting part because obviously there's more nuance of, you could say, that's not actually like right-wing people, that's like neoconservative boomer, which is kind of,
they start chopping it down.
well, then these people are like, that's not left, it's like neoliberal, this and that. And you're kind of like, so there's two parts of it. Like one, the idea is that it was like hypocritical to be like, kind of being like the anti-fucking capitalist podcast and this and that. For one, I was kind of, they are a little bit right that yes, it's more liberals or whatever, but for starters, liberals versus, neoliberals versus neo-boomer conservative is a worse title.
Yeah,
Everyone
obviously.
kind of knows what you mean.
of course.
It's when they're normal. And second of all, the sponsor list was straight from NPR sponsors. Like this
that
was
the China Bank one.
I don't remember if that one was specifically, but like, Angie.
Yeah,
List,
of course.
All those, I straight up like went to NPR's sponsor list and I was looking at a lot of those. And if you look at it, NPR has like 50 things that are like why capitalism's bad, the communists take, like all that bullshit. And then on top of that, you still do all have these like proper fucking left-wing streamer dudes that have these big contracts with Microsoft.
Of course,
and,
like Hassan.
big like headphone, whatever it is,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So it's like,
The Angie's List one is actually kind of funny because probably like they do it on NPR because all those people like can't do renovations at home themselves. Whereas like everybody on the right, they're like, yeah, I'm fixing this myself.
That's a good point. That also applies to me though.
It's like, yeah, I guess, but it's like, still it's funny.
I'm not saying that I'm not trying to sell myself as some handyman.
No. Ryan's not a handyman.
Danny sort of does sell himself as some handyman.
I do
though.
not sell myself as a handyman.
Yeah, you do. You come in and you go, I can fix this. In fact, lo and behold, the stuff never gets fixed.
What?
He's talking about doing a hole in our fucking thing for the microphone since 1945.
We got a new table.
Yeah, exactly. A new table came before the hole got drilled in the first one. Just to let you know his level. he's all talk no walk. But anyways, I thought it was fucking interesting, the level of like misinterpretation on that sketch.
I mean, there's no way with that kind of volume that there's not going to be.
So the one last thing on that before we move. So when we went to, Danny noticed this, the TD Canada Bank.
This was, someone tagged me in this yesterday.
You got tagged in it?
And then I straight up, like, because people tag you and then you go, this isn't real. And then I had to go through. And then a lot of times you find the thing, you go, oh, this is like just edited and it's selectively edited and it's not. So TD Canada Trust or whatever, biggest bank in North America, I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
It's huge. Biggest bank in America. They fucking had like their Twitter was like, happy Hanukkah, happy holidays, happy Kwanzaa. And they just skipped Christmas. And you're like... And they're the gay bank, right? They're the one who
they're the big gay
they're
bank.
The big gay bank. Where
their CEO comes out and he's wearing like a leather ball gag, and he's like, "You gay?" He's like, "Not just support the community."
Apparently, someone told me who worked at TD Bank that the CEO's son was gay, and that's why.
Okay.
Like, and he was like, that's why they're so big.
Well, that's why he's skipping Christmas.
I don't know, but like, you're just like, who's running the social media? Where you're like, again, what percentage of Canada is a Christian? That
Even better
Christmas?
than that, there was this.
Like, are they like, look, it doesn't even need to be said. Everybody celebrates it. So
I guess that. No, I don't think.
Like, how many people celebrate Kwanzaa in Canada?
Well, that's
10?
That's the question we do have. So, is it okay to say Christmas? And there's a big article here of someone that was really, really upset about it. And I want to apologize to Danny for being insensitive because I believe I wish you a Merry Christmas.
I love Christmas.
This is the ultimate of.
I hate these people.
Because the ultimate is like, is there a war on Christmas? Is probably. Of all of the, I'm not triggered, you're triggered. Mm-hmm. That's probably the most one. Yeah. Where they go, oh, are you triggered that someone doesn't want to say Christmas? And you're like, I guess it seems like the original thing was being triggered by Christmas. You go, yeah, but you're more triggered by us taking it away. Yeah. And then you go, you're more triggered by us saying it still, right? And you go, it's a classic Who's Triggered. Yeah. This is the original classic Who's Triggered.
I mean, it's original, but also it's like in the last, I don't know. When was the first stink about getting wished a Merry Christmas happen?
Well, this she's Jewish and she's Russian Jewish, so she's the same as Danny, and she wrote a big article being like what her beef was. So we're gonna go whether or not for Russian Jews is it a Merry Christmas or is it Happy Holidays? This is the question of the answers. And I screwed it up this year, but I want to not be making those fucking.
I mean, you better not fucking make that mistake next year.
And she said
some repercussions.
It's impolite and it's alienating to assume I follow your religion. And so this is I don't know if you've ever had this scenario where
someone wished me a Merry Christmas.
And what did you do? Break down?
What the fuck?
I mean, first of all, most people that celebrate Christmas are like agnostic or celebrate nothing. You know what I mean?
But also it's just like you live in a society where, like, dude, if I lived in fucking Saudi Arabia and someone goes Happy Ramadan, I'm not like, obvious. Excuse me.
What the fuck you just said? You take a look at my skin, pal.
Yeah, it's like
you want to fucking drop them.
Yeah, it's like the fucking predominant thing, the culture. I mean, the craziest part is,
is anyone saying
I would be more acceptable of her if she was like. Not being like, oh, well, I came from a different, like if I've been here for 5 generations, fuck you. Like,
do you think she'd ever go to like China and write her article, write her white Jew article, write white Jewish person article from Russia, being an article that's like, stop wishing me a fucking Chinese Happy New Year.
It's not my New Year. My New Year's on January 1st.
Yeah, it's alienating to the culture. Cool. But also it is sort of one of those things where you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. Because think about this, right? It's like do not assume that I celebrate your...
Yeah.
But then if you fucking put a sombrero on and you start celebrating fiestas or what's the one?
Whatever. Cinco de Mayo?
Yeah, if I get too into Cinco de Mayo, it's like they go, hey... This is not for you. And I go, oh, you can do mine too. I go, you assume I can do yours.
But also imagine this chick, you see her and you don't know her that well. And you go, hey, happy Hanukkah. She goes, how do you know I'm Jewish? She's just like, your kind of inbred Jew face that you have. I kind of just assumed it. And she's like, what?
Yeah, that's what I'm sort of saying. You can't win, right?
Fucked either way.
You can't. I'll say one thing I will say is my fucking holidays. I've been talking to other people that were kind of like having fucking my parents. I'll tell you what, mine were banging.
Yeah,
I went to mine, both my dad's, my mom's, and Waldo's, and all 3 were fun. And I was thinking about it when I was in the Uber on the way home. Do you know what the cross factor of all of them is? Me. I make things fun.
Ryan the party long. Let's get it started.
That's what within 5 minutes I fucking got
in here. Brings the boombox in. Let's get retarded.
I get in there. They're arguing about, critical race theory. And then I get in there. I go, let's get it started.
Who wants Jello shots?
I got turned up pretty quick at all of them. Me and my younger brother had a pretty good thing against my other brother. So he was basically, the Mark Twain thing. Where he was like, basically, he goes, there is no idea. There's no such thing as an original idea.
Yeah.
My middle brother dropped that, and he was kind of, there's no such thing as a original idea or whatever. And then me and my younger brother, I kept going like, iPhones for shoes, strawberries for eyes.
Yeah, just combining the dumbest shit.
Yeah, we got saying pipe cleaners for fingers, using a spoon for a bowl and a bowl for a spoon. That's not original. You thought it? Yeah. I guess we'll look it up, see if anyone's thought of it. And it turns out it was an original idea.
No, that's actually the domain name's available. We can just buy this right now. iPhones for shoes.
No, you use headphones for a hat and a hat for headphones. So, and then, gloves for shoes, shoes for gloves. There's an original idea. Shove a beer can up your ass and shove a dildo in your ear. Original idea.
Not bad.
That one wasn't as good. A lot of them, if you combine iPhone shoes with them, so you say dildo in your mouth, hat in your ass, and iPhones for shoes. So that's the combination, is you always get iPhones for shoes on top of it.
It was a sweater. Sorry, I'm roasting in here.
Yeah, you are, you fucking fat fuck. It's New Year's resolution to eat less lard. Hasn't kicked in yet. You still got fucking another day.
Oh.
The other thing is my mom was fucking coming up with bizarro ideas, man. I think the fucking red pilling cooked her brain a little bit.
Yeah.
Oh, this is what she said. She got a new house and she goes, my brothers are going to drive me up there 2 hours away. And then she goes, what if you and then when they drive home, she goes, what if you stay over there for a couple days by yourself? And I was like, okay, well, and she's like, or just even 4 or 5 hours, you can stay. And I go, why? And she's like, are you going to be there? She goes, no, we're taking off and we're
staying somewhere else. She wants you to house sit?
And she goes, no, she doesn't want, she goes, it'll be good for you. You can relax for 4 hours. And I go, yeah, but my brother's driving me. And she goes, well, you can rent a car. And that's over text. I call her, I go, what are you talking about? So you go, instead of getting a drive up to your house 2 hours away and then drive back and leave with my brothers, we go up, I rent a car to drive up myself. They leave, you leave. I bop around for 4 or 5 more hours.
So what does this accomplish?
She says it's relaxing for me. She goes, it'd be nice to have your house to yourself. I go, I have a hotel to myself.
Yeah, I'm fine.
Yeah, right? She's coming up with these ideas.
Did you have like a cool sauna or something in there?
No, it's a pretty standard.
Just standard house.
Yeah, so it's like all this. And I go, what are you talking about? She goes, you're making it seem like I'm weird. This is a really good idea. Like she's on to her idea.
She comes back, you're like in the hot tub, just like eating strawberries and drinking champagne. She goes, see?
What'd I tell you? Well, there's another one that I was kind of after I got hyped up on there's no original ideas. Because my favorite thing is phrases that are fake that everyone thinks.
Fake platitudes, kind of.
That's a good way to put it, yeah.
Yeah.
There was another one. I listened to Tim Ferriss, who it's like, he's fucking tough to listen to these days. Every once in a while.
Guest specific.
You gotta really like it.
There was someone actually I saw recently that I want to listen to, but I don't even remember.
Oh, probably. Fucking RuPaul.
RuPaul. So tell me about your motivation. How do you come up with RuPaul?
Yeah, and he goes, he had some guy on, and the whole thing was this book called Liberation of Cosmic Significance. Okay. All that stuff, like that stuff, the Stoicism stuff. I always said it's like...
Sounds like crystals for guys.
It is a little bit crystals for guys, and it's also a little bit, it never goes to the people who need it.
Yeah.
It's always some guy that's already too much of this. Mm-hmm. So the whole thing was like basically a complicated way of, you say, if we were to look up in the sky, we're all just specks of dust.
Dust in the wind.
Right. And the whole thing was...
Did you listen to the whole thing?
No, I tapped out. And basically, he's going, he's this whole philosophy, his whole life's work is this book. And Tim Ferriss is like, this book is one of those books that I had to put it down because I had to process the thoughts because it was, kind of that sort of thing, right? He's really up the guy's ass, loves them. And then this guy's going on about, on every point of your life, if you just think it's actually significant, if you look back through history, it's like 1 billion years, and this is the tiniest blip on history, and it's like, so nothing matters. And it was basically his theory is if you worry too much, and it was kind of like, okay, but if you don't worry too much, things do kind of matter. There's an objective amount that they matter. It's like if you go kill someone and you go to jail for life, like you go, this doesn't matter. It's like, well, it kind of does matter.
Also,
everything's a relative amount of mattering. And if you're like all mattering is zero, then what are you talking about?
Also, the people who worry too much are not the kind of people who do well when you're like, how about you worry less? And they're like, yeah, that's the problem.
Right, exactly.
Like, I didn't need a podcast to tell me to worry less. I'm trying to worry less.
They would just find out how to worry less about being, but they would make them worry more. They go, you're just nothing. And it's that same thing that you go, it can be one of two things. It can make you liberated where you go, oh, I am nothing. So, or you go the other.
It's the AA thing where it's like you're not in control. Like,
or you go the other way where you go, oh no, I'm nothing. What is this? What is my existence? And you can kind of flip out that way. Or you could go the other way where they're droning on about this stuff and you go, what is this you're doing?
Is there like a self-help?
What is this bullshit?
Is there like a self-help book that's like so spicy that some people could read it and just kill themselves? You go, I figured it out.
Yeah.
I need to kill myself.
Well, why would that matter if it's so insignificant?
Yeah, exactly. That's what
and it was just like, well, no. Everything has like relative significance, and some things matter. Obviously, some things matter more. So unless your theory is that everything matters exactly the same, zero, You're just trying to say that some things matter here, but everything's really insignificant, but they're still higher. It's like, okay, so now zoom in and then you can see what the hierarchy looks like.
The crazy thing is this guy has built a career off of this. Off of this fucking kind of nonsense.
Well, he's in this one book, Tim Ferriss read it, and he couldn't get over himself. He's the biggest revelation he's heard, right? He's going on and on reading passages, and it's just like, all of it was...
Oh, well, dude, he like used to be not a drug guy, and then he became like a real psychedelic
Well,
guy.
it did seem like a guy that's done a bunch of acid and having this realization
he's
nothing matters. It's like, but then you go to the extreme, take that to extreme. It's like, well, kill yourself. It's like, well, some things matter a little bit. They'll go rip up the book then.
Does your podcast matter, Tim?
So as far back to the Christmas fiasco and whether or not we're allowed to say it, this is what she said. This is the bad day that she had. My Lyft driver was the umpteenth person to wish me a Merry Christmas that day. He'd probably just meant it the way that most people do, as a kind sort of December shorthand for have a good day. But he had a cross hanging from his rearview mirror. I said thank you, wished him the same, got off my street, went into my house, and just sighed. So that was... Then she got
another. She probably goes, how many more days we have until Christmas?
364 again, right? Fuck, man. Every year I have to go through this bullshit.
Never ground.
Look, I got 1 star for sure.
Dude, we should fucking track her down and just be like, on like mid-February. She probably lives in New York. Mid-February, be like, hey, Merry Christmas.
Hey, Merry Christmas. With the hat on. Oh, get some cheer. Holiday cheer. Apparently, later in the story, she is getting trolled by people that were saying Merry Christmas, and she didn't like that. It's essentially hate speech the way that she was saying it.
Of course it's hate speech. I mean, she's literally...
This is those ones where it's very possible to get sucked in. You could this is the type of girl that's going to her holiday party and arguing with her dad. And as long if her dad was like the Trump guy, that's like, that's the thing. There's both of these people.
If she's fucking Soviet Union, her dad probably is the Trump guy.
You know what I mean?
Like if she moved from the Soviet Union, she got like a liberal arts education or whatever. Her dad's fucking like hates Putin, loves Trump.
Hates Biden, man.
Hates Biden. Let's go, Brandon. All that shit.
He's the type of dude that you come in and
he probably fucking is like, hey, Julia, Merry Christmas.
Right.
Like he's telling her Merry Christmas, yeah.
I bet you like when I was, there's like guys that you'll date like someone and their dad will be like super Republican.
I don't date guys. You've dated guys whose dad's a Republican?
Busted! But they'll be like to me or something, be like, oh, look, you're fucking probably love Biden, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and then they size you up like in a moment.
And then you go, no, whatever. And then they go, yeah, you do though. It's like, they like can't wait to find, like if no one, they're like, you like Biden? Well, you like Biden? You like Biden? They wait for someone to be like, yeah, I like him. They go, here we go.
Well, they like just learned about the term snowflake in the last like 6 months, and they're just itching to use it.
They slam the turkey off the table. They go, all right, let's go. Strap him up. Yeah, you fucking snowflake.
Oh, I guess you're going to be eating a tofurkey, huh? Let me just get rid of the turkey, you fucking snowflake.
Yeah. And you're like, I don't even really care.
I actually like turkey.
Yeah. They go, no, you don't. They need someone to fight against.
Yeah.
And then this person comes around being like, first rule of business, anyone that says Merry Christmas, I will shrivel and die on the spot. I will be exiting the building. And the dad's like, ding, 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 ding. Yeah, we got one. Here we go. And she said, I like good cheer. So in case you were wondering, she actually does not have a problem with cheer.
Yeah, she loves a good cheer.
She loves a good cheer.
Loves cheer.
Go fuck yourself, Trump. That's a cheer she likes. But please do not wish me a Merry Christmas. It's wonderful that you celebrate it, but I don't, and I don't feel like explaining to it. The funny is, you don't have to explain it to them if they go Merry Christmas.
It's like the end, the whole transaction is over the moment somebody wishes you the Merry Christmas.
That's the end of the line.
It's the end of it. There's no, like, the fact that you are, like, getting wished Merry Christmas and it just, like, you file it away.
Unless they're, like, caroling.
Can
you imagine that?
I never had carolers in my life.
She'd probably be fucking kicking those kids in the head. They open the door. 6, 7, 8. We wish you a Merry Christmas.
At this point, if there were carolers, like, I would be so suspicious that something else is going on.
Me too.
That I would be like, wait, just 8 of you got together and you're going door to door?
Yeah, what are you up to?
Just do some carols? Do you tip carolers?
He's supposed to, but they're usually...
Is that the deal with caroling? So they're basically buskers.
They're buskers.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Sometimes
Did you
they're
have
not.
when you were a
Sometimes
kid?
it's like Jehovah's Witness where they're just sort of spreading the cheer.
Yeah. Did you, when you were a kid, carolers ever come to
I
your
don't know
house?
if I've ever had a caroler. I think it's a myth.
I don't think so. Or maybe my parents have the mezuzah thing on their door, so that's
No carolers
No
allowed.
Christmas carolers, please.
No.
No solicitors and no Christmas carolers.
She says, I don't share your faith, but I don't begrudge you for the joy of your celebration. In fact, I often participate. So now she's participating sometimes.
I love. She goes like, I'm actually pretty fun, but.
Yeah, that's all.
Literally, she goes, no. Just like, so you know, I have this whole article about how I'm not fun, but just, you know, I am actually
There's
fun.
a lot of articles like that where they always sort of preface, and I'm not like not fun. I'm
I'm actually the funnest person in my whole crew.
As I will this year when I bring Christmas presents wrapped in Christmas paper to the Christmas dinner with my friends or their children. So she's at the Christmas party, even saying, you know, don't wish me. But she's like, which is fine. I'm at the party. We're doing the Christmas. You got a tree, but I have my line. Do not fucking.
She probably has like, she really probably goes to like Christmas work parties and like has to go to the bathroom for a few minutes to just like cry and compose herself and be like, just 2 more hours.
For sure, yeah.
2 more hours of this hate speech and violence.
That's the thing, though, too. They fucking Russians do have a tendency to hate fun, so maybe it's a Russian side in her. Like,
Maybe. Well, there's the whole thing
No.
is like they didn't have Christmas. I kind of known this, but like my parents never had a tree, but like
they only
I know
celebrate
people-
the death of Christ.
Well, they're like China with communism, where you're not allowed to have any religious stuff, right? It's all just like they have their New Year thing, but nobody is religious. You're
yeah,
not
I
allowed to be
know.
any religion.
But if you go to Israel and someone says Happy Hanukkah, I go, what the fuck do you say to me?
What did you say?
You can fucking. You can.
I mean, Israel is ground central for all the crazy Christian people who they go, I want to walk where Jesus walked.
Yeah, I know.
You know, they like they're big time there.
Jesus. What? God, show me the way. They don't fuck around in Russia though. That's what Patrick was saying. That
No.
if you don't learn the language, they'll like deport you.
Yeah, I mean, again, Russia's not the kind of place where you get by without knowing the language. Like you just can't get by there.
So this is always the time of the year I feel most excluded from the society. One Jewish friend told me. Another one told me it makes me feel un-American. So that's
you're
why
not
I say-
American.
But that's why I say
Well, I
damned
guess
if
you
you do, damned if you don't. You go, what are you supposed? I feel very excluded. It's like, oh, we'll include you.
Yeah.
You. Well, interesting.
This
You think you can rub your festivities in my face? Okay, don't come. So you're excluding me.
This is like a fucking mentally ill person. This is like this article I read, and I go, this is like the classic thing of like when you're a good writer. So like there is like you're useful in the sense that you can write, but you have nothing left to say.
That's an okay point.
But you're like, you have nothing else to say, but you're good at writing, and then you're like, okay, I'll just put this stuff out there.
Well,
I
I've been,
guess.
you know how I've been always saying this is not really right left, it's more girl thing.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas like there was one,
I can just say I've known many Jews, female, male. I've never heard this from anybody.
No.
I've never heard.
no,
one
this isn't
Jewish
a Jew.
person-
This is nothing. She has nothing to do with being Jewish. It has nothing to do with being Russian. It has everything to do with being a girl who's making a identity out of being a complainer.
Yeah, exactly. She's literally like just always aggrieved.
Yeah, and so that Patricia Morgan girl, who's like a girl
the one
politician.
Oh yeah.
She's like Republican or whatever, and tweeted, she goes, I had a black friend. I liked her and she liked me too. But now she is hostile and unpleasant. I'm sure I didn't do anything to her except be white. Is this what the teachers and political leaders want for our society? So my point is, this is the new thing girls do is, and it's an old thing girls do, but it's being rewarded, is what they say is they go, they give you one piece of anecdotal evidence. It's the same as like the Sean Kings of the world or those people, those kind of girls being like, I was at a place and a guy ignored me because I'm black.
Of course.
This girl's has her one thing, and doesn't even necessarily mean that never happened, but one experience does not create a pattern, and it does not create like a culture.
Exactly.
So it's like people like to use anecdotal evidence, and they go, see? What I've been saying, that happened once. And you
That
go,
happened once.
Oh, yeah. It's like with 330 million
But
people
also
in the
like, hey,
country.
normal people don't fucking take a crazy issue with being wished Merry Christmas.
No, that's a good point.
You're just like, you just have something wrong with your brain. I don't like, there's really something wrong with you.
Well, I would go more. She knows there's a little bit of a wave where she can get on it and be she's seen the argument of who's triggered going on. And then she goes, actually, it is them. Let me dive in here. Actually, yeah, I also think it's racist being called Merry Christmas. Just want to get my 2 cents on the mix there.
Just want to be on the record.
Do you know how I've been saying that Jordan Peterson's been getting grumpy on Twitter?
He's been getting. I don't even know if he's grumpy anymore. I'm like, is he drinking or something? I feel like he's just fucking has like.
That's a good point. No, he didn't get his drugs. That's the thing, right?
Well, I know.
Maybe he's like was going through kind of withdrawals or whatever. Yeah, it's like a guy quitting smoking sort of thing. Yeah. But he's been extra grumpy because he'll sort of. He had the tweet.
He's just like, suck my cock on Twitter, and you're like, Jordan Peterson.
Oh, someone called him racist or something. He quote tweeted it saying, "Call him to say it to his face."
Say it to my face, you fuck.
That's a pretty good Peterson. He told him, he's like straight up like you saying, come to my fucking, meet me outside. Let's see what's what.
He is, because he was never like that. He was totally like this intellectual, just like here's.
He still is when you see him in things.
Yeah.
And he was a little grumpy in interviews, but it's the same thing as everyone seems like a piece of shit on Twitter. But it's just for some reason funnier when it's him because it just like seems like I don't know, like you don't expect it. I guess. My theory is he's just being an old guy a little bit, and then he tweeted the best tweet where I was like, this proves everything that I've been saying. I'll read you guys the tweet. Microsoft I cannot sign in.
Yeah, I forgot.
I cannot sign into my MS Office account on one of my computers, and you've made it impossible to talk to a person. So he just. I mean, I might tweet something like that, I guess, but it's just so funny that he went from like.
That's like, because the more you like. That's the thing is once you start getting like followers on Twitter and you get some traction, there is like this desire sometimes where something happens in your private life.
Yeah,
and you go on blast. Put that on blast.
Fuck you, American Airlines.
Yeah, exactly right. But then you're like, I don't want to be doing. This is not what this is for. But yeah, for him to be like, oh, I can't log into my account.
Microsoft fucking anyways, and then some other people. So HuffPo was this is now on to New Year's, so and we're kind of doing a bit of a holiday wrap up here. The toxic phrase that we need to stop saying around the holidays. So
Merry Christmas.
Well, that's the first
part two
one.
of the first one.
Well, they came in, and a lot of people. I might do a video about this, but basically. Every New Year's for the last 3 or 4 years, they've come in hot with the like New Year's is fat phobic, right?
Yeah.
So that's a big one. They go, and this person said, but mid plank, the instructors said, she was at the gym working out, and her instructor goes, hey, let's work off that candy for the New Year's, and then that fucking set her right off.
She goes, that candy I ate was actually for the next year.
Then
I was saving that candy
like a chipmunk.
Yeah, she goes, that candy. I'm working off candy from 2 years ago.
Yeah, that's
this candy is not going to be worked off.
No, never.
It's like what is it? The accounting, the first in, first out.
What's that?
That was like one of the accounting things where it's like one of the things where it's like first. So you're like you're working off the first candy you ate.
That's
you're
true.
not the last candy.
Well, she said it was surely intended as a lighthearted joke, but is seriously problematic according to experts. I think one of my New Year's resolutions is I'm no longer gonna, in any way, shape, or form, listen to experts. I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm out of the
out of the expert game.
I don't care. I could be going in for cancer. They go expert. I go, you know what? Let Ben Shapiro do my surgery.
It's chicks in college too, which annoys me even more.
So she's going on. I guess you're an expert in offensiveness. You know what I mean?
Yeah. She's like I'm like, you're 20. I'm like, I don't give a shit about your fucking opinions about fat phobia.
Yeah.
She goes, it's fat phobic. Okay.
No, you do when people.
But
like
obviously
that.
you care because you're working out.
You go. You think about that? You just fucking grab their stomach. Girls call it when their girls are on a thing calling stuff fat phobic. What they really don't like is when you grab the back of their arm.
Yeah.
They go, good thing it's not.
And you go, like you're like really like phobia stuff, grossed out.
Yeah, I am fat phobic. You go, no. You know what? Good thing it's Christmas and not Thanksgiving because we had a turkey right here. Grab her fucking neck fat.
Her jowls.
Grab her jowls. So that's what you don't do.
Yeah, and she's like, and she was saying the thing about weighing yourself, where she's like, it's so bad she's like, you shouldn't be weighing yourself or whatever. And you're like, yeah, I mean, it helps if you're trying to achieve something.
Right. Well, she has the
like,
card
it doesn't
from
hurt,
last week.
but it like doesn't hurt to be weighing yourself. Obviously, if you have like, anorexia, maybe it does. Where
you're anorexic, you might not want to have that kick in.
When the number stops going down, you go, oh.
Well, on top of that, this one they also didn't like, and this is a scathing review of the movie Elf. So if you guys are at home and you go, I watched Alf with my family, popped it on, you got a problem, folks.
Yeah. I got a fun thing actually, by the way.
Oh yeah,
that you're gonna like. So I don't think you do this as much, but I always try and see who the person is.
You love doing that.
Who
man.
writes these
Spank
things
bank.
for the spank?
You let
bank?
them cuck you.
So the author of this article, this you'll like, just because it's kind of a callback. Her name's Esme Mazzeo, and she's the entertainment TV fellow at Insider. That is her title. Is the entertainment and TV fellow.
She's the main fellow.
She's the fellow. She's the fellow.
So she basically worked her way up to fellow, and her first thing was Elf's Gotta Go.
Yeah.
Sounds like not a fellow to me.
She was a fellow. She's the entertainment TV fellow.
Yeah, I think she's a junior fellow, tops, right, and stuff like that.
I mean, I looked at her profile. It doesn't say anything about seniority. It just says fellow.
Top fellow, and doesn't have a problem.
Which is
with
weird
Elf.
because I didn't know fellow was like a fucking like a job. You're like, you literally write clickbait.
Yeah.
And they're calling you a fellow?
Yeah, exactly.
That seems like a pretty fucking hoity-toity bullshit for what you're doing.
It is hoity-toity. Yeah, because I always thought it's like an economic think tank where you're called a fellow.
Yeah, well, that's what we were saying before. That's why I brought it up. And then you're like, she's like, yeah, the entertainment TV fellow, and telling you why Elf is like Elf, literally a kid's movie.
She had a big problem with Elf.
That's
my
like
friend.
pretty widely regarded as like, you don't hear a lot of people being like, oh, Elf, that piece of shit. It's the worst thing I've ever seen. Like, and most people are like ambivalent, or they're like, yeah, great, movie, great kids, whatever, easy watch.
Can you imagine she walked in there, Elf's playing Merry Christmas, just getting hit at all angles. So she goes, Elf became a modern classic and instantly after it premiered in 2003. But after 20 years later, it still baffles me how offensive it is to cognitively disabled adults. So if you want to ruin your family party, pop Elf on and just watch everyone shriek in horror.
Yep.
She's acting like Elf's handyman, you know what I mean?
Oh, it's insane because, again, like the idea that he goes, like, just her whole thing is they call him special.
How does she get to be the senior fellow? Her whole thing
She's
is
not a senior fellow. She's just a fellow.
Just a fellow.
And Insider, because this is Insider, they're the same ones who went after Portnoy with all that nonsense. And they used to be Business Insider, and they're run by that like dude who's like banned from Wall Street and all this stuff. I really think
Insider of their dad's ass.
But this sounds like really like they're like a new, almost like Vice kind of.
They're
like
going hunting for that
Ponzi
territory.
Schemey, like straight clickbait, like on purpose. No journalistic integrity. So they don't even call them journalists. They're like, she's like, can I be a journalist?
A good point.
And you're like, no, you're not.
fellow.
You're not a journalist.
No.
Yeah. They're like, we don't want to get sued, so you're not a journalist. You're a fellow.
Oh, that's why they stopped calling themselves
I don't know.
journalists. They don't want to
Well,
get sued, maybe.
I have no idea.
Well, she said she couldn't sit through Elf for 10 minutes without being offended after forcing. That's one of those things where, you know, when everyone's like, oh, these people are offended by everything. And she goes, I can't watch 5 minutes of Elf without being offended.
And she watched like the TBS cut where
She
they
watched
like
the cut.
where they fucking edited it for time and took out like the one time they say shit.
She
just to
needed
make
those
it
breaks when the commercials hit,
PG-13.
too, to fucking regroup. The commercials come on, she has to fucking walk
She goes,
around.
oh, just give me a commercial. It's like My Pillow. She's like, no.
After forcing myself to sit through the whole film, which is also funny.
She's like Clockwork Orange. Her fucking eyes are just taped open.
Yeah.
She's like,
Forcing yourself to sit through the film was good.
Elf.
Was getting me.
Elf.
For this article, by the way. So she sort of remembered. She's brainstorming things that offensive. She goes, maybe Elf was offensive. And then she forced herself to sit through it. And every 10 minutes was tough for her. She taped the eyes back. Imagine she taped the eyes back to watch it. And then someone came and said, you're doing Chinese eyes? No! She loses her
You're
fellowship.
fucking done. She has her fellow badge that they rip off of her.
They rip off your fellow. She goes, I'm even more confident that purposefully or not, Elf makes fun of cognitively disabled adults through Buddy. He's referred to as special several times while at the North Pole. So this is their big beef.
Yeah.
He's a human that was raised by elves, and he's like a weird dude.
Yeah, he's like
raised-
Elf.
Yeah.
You know what's so funny too is remember like 5 years ago when people were like, you can't say retard anymore, and everybody's like, well, I don't call someone who actually is that.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, okay, and everybody's like, because a lot of people, this was such a like line where they go, okay, this is not the one they're taking away, and then people are like, okay, fine, maybe it's not, and now they're just like, Elf's bad.
Yeah.
Like it went from like, yeah, don't say retard. And people are like, okay, I can see that. And now people are like, okay, we can't show Elf anymore. And you're
Oh,
like,
it definitely boiled her blood. She goes, his toy making skills are not up to par, and he has to take a post reserved for special elves. So she's fucking steaming at this point when that happened. And but she has advice though, right? So it's not. That's the thing about the fellows, that she's not here to just tell you what's wrong. She has some advice for what they should have done 20 years ago if you had a time machine.
What do you think her parents
If you have a time machine
done?
to kill Hitler, what would you do? Go back in time and force the director to rewrite Elf?
Take out the word special.
Well, no, she's fine with special. She goes, if Buddy does have a disability, the movie never explicitly says so, and it would have been stronger if he had. So she's saying,
Oh, but you're also fine with able-bodied Will Ferrell playing someone with a disability?
no, she is not.
I know.
But that's her thing. She goes, well, that's the next step. And she goes, what should have happened?
Yeah.
You wait till she gets all her stuff about it.
Stephen Hawking should have played.
She does say that. She goes, so basically they should have made, instead of just having this elf that's weird, they should have said like at the beginning, like he has a developmental issue, he's autistic, and they should have listed off his things. He has ADD, all the stuff, right?
Yeah.
That's why he's eating cotton balls and stuff like that. He has ADD. And then after that, they should have, because you're right, you can't now be like, hey, elf, he's obviously retarded. It's a little less fun now when he's falling down the stairs and doing all this stuff, right? So what they should have done is done that, skipped all those gags, and then just had him see a therapist, and then sort of that's the rest of the movie.
It's kind of like a Good Will Hunting mashup.
Well, that's what she's saying. She goes, if Buddy does have a disability, it would have been stronger if they had mentioned the disability. Yeah, then he goes to therapy, and then there's your movie credits.
It's a weird assumption that an elf can have a disability, considering it's like a magical thing that's not a real thing.
Yeah, but she didn't like the way it was too close to the human. If you're gonna make it magical, make it fucking magical. She don't like the way you're intruding on our territory.
Well, he was a 6'6" elf.
Yeah, she has a problem with that.
Okay.
She goes, I'm not trying to destroy a modern Christmas classic. So
Yes,
if that's what
you literally are. I mean, you literally are trying to make people feel
She's
bad.
just saying do better next time, I think.
Oh, really?
No, probably not.
It was 20 years ago.
Yeah, no, she doesn't want you watching.
What, Elf 2 you wanted to do better? Like,
I saw what was the other one, A Christmas Story? People were getting riled up about, sort of saying it was the message, pro-gun message.
pro-gun, did too pro-gun because he wanted the fucking BB gun.
Yeah, but as a physically disabled woman, so she's physically disabled where it comes from. You know what I mean?
She is.
Yeah, that's where it sort of comes from. People love their groups, right? And it sucks when your group doesn't have enough spunk. You know what I mean? Like, you know, some of the ones like deaf who actually their life's really hard, they have to take a back seat to like these new things. You know what I mean? Like anxious.
Yeah.
You think it's deaf? It's bad. I'm anxious.
Yeah, you're like, you think your wheelchair's bad?
I'm a woman.
I find it hard to go to grocery stores.
Yeah. Why? The colors.
Too bright?
No, the people. There's not enough people of color. You know, because like actually we have buddies that are like, you know, DJ's deaf or whatever, right? Which by the way, he's got the sickest contraption. So our buddy's super funny comedian. We were hanging out in LA and he's got this contraption because he's like pretty deaf, but he's like, he has hearing aids and stuff like that, which makes him, you know, but without them, he's essentially deaf, right? Yeah. But he does on his seatbelt, because we drove together, he puts on your seatbelt a microphone that goes into his ear.
Oh.
So, because he's, you know, he's not going to be able to hear you over the car
because he has to see, I know, I talked to him about this a million times
So
before.
I talk into the microphone.
He can't see your lips moving. That's
because he can put it together with like the murmurs and then your thing.
Yeah.
But if he's got this thing, it's like a fucking loud microphone speaker that goes right in his ear, and then you talk into the microphone on your seatbelt. Pretty sweet, right?
That's pretty cool. Yeah.
So they are sort of cracking things.
Yeah.
For those people, but they don't have as much, pizzazz to their group right now. No. It's not as much of a hot group. Disabled are on the come up.
Does she say what her
But it's the fake disabled
is?
people. It's kind of like when the fat models are always like kind of hot. It's the like disabled people that are always like their disability. It's never someone that's like can't move. That's like for the disability community. It's always like, what's your disability? It's like fat.
Yeah. Well, I was wondering, does she say what her disability is?
She didn't really say it. Yeah, she goes physical disability, but that just means she's on disability, right?
Well, no, she's a fellow.
She's a fellow. Oh, I forgot.
She's working.
She's a disabled fellow.
Yeah, she's a disabled fellow.
Who's that? A disabled fellow that works there?
You'll have to be more specific. This is insider.
That's so funny saying a fellow, disabled fellow. Hey, someone works at your place. I'm looking for. It's like a disabled fellow. Is it a dude? No, it's a disabled fellow. It's a female disabled fellow.
A female disabled fellow.
It's a female disabled fellow.
What don't you get? I don't.
You having trouble with this? So if Elf had a cognitive difference, it would have had to take responsibility for its offensive language. That would mean erasing a lot of the verbal and physical comedy that we're meant to laugh at, but none was funny to me. So she
Imagine being like just that. I mean, honestly, part of me feels bad because you're like, that is her real worldview.
Yes.
Where she has to like watch Elf and be like, this is fucked.
I'm fucking furious.
But she's like watching this like, this is fucked up.
It's just steam coming out the ears.
But like I'm not even like, I don't even know if she's like putting it on.
No, they believe they're bullshit, but that's because they're, it's a cult.
But
right?
some people don't. Like the fucking Merry Christmas thing, I don't think she really believes this. She was just trying to make something.
Don't underestimate girls' ability to believe they're bullshit.
I believe that she believes it.
And multiple bullshit sandwiches that don't really agree with each other. You know what I mean?
Many shit sandwiches.
Yeah, they'll believe it's fucking dark at night with fucking full confidence each time. So Buddy eating cotton balls, running towards moving taxi cabs, and even exposing a department store Santa as fake doesn't inspire me to laugh. Instead, these moments made me wish he had a real good support system in life. So maybe
he has Santa.
Yeah, well, he did have
pretty
Santa.
Good support system when you have Santa Claus.
I know. Well, it wasn't good enough for her, a white man, Danny. Contrary to popular belief, it is possible to take a joke about a disability. Well, not for you, though. You just have to let the disabled people that are in on the joke. So Will Ferrell's character should have, once they've made it clear that the disabled person was disabled, then they cast a disabled person. Then they rewrite the script so the joke is sort of like how they're awesome. By the way,
you think he would still do the same numbers?
Well, Elf is the protagonist of the story. Like the dad who's like a dick to him is the bad guy.
Yeah.
Like the moral of the story isn't like, and that's why fucking you don't hire fucking Nancy.
Yeah, of course.
The moral of the story is like, see, that's what happens when you have fucking handy people in your life.
Like don't underestimate them. They can do great stuff.
Yeah, that's the positive message.
Yeah.
But she thought the movie was like, she thought the moral of the message was like, don't have them around, they'll eat your cotton balls.
She probably honestly thinks in her mind too, she goes, you know what, if they just like cast some like nobody actor who has had the right disability, it would have done the same box office.
She thinks that, yeah.
Yeah, she goes like, just because Will Ferrell's in it, like that's not so.
If they have a guy that like had to move the wheelchair.
Yeah, or whatever. She's like, that would have done the exact same numbers.
Well, contrary to popular belief, they can take a joke. So that's what she says.
Oh.
You have to let disabled people in on the joke. The easiest way is to cast disabled actors in the role, especially like physical, fine. If you go, hey, we're getting a guy in a wheelchair, let's hire a guy in a wheelchair. Like, obviously that kind of whatever. I don't think it's one way or the other. It has to be. But if you go mental disability, like if you're hiring someone that's like severely mentally disabled, it's probably like difficult for them to be an actor and memorize lines and do all that stuff.
What?
I apologize for my bigotry.
Do you want to cut that out of the podcast, or you
Yeah,
want to be on record as such a crazy claim? Although they did have that move. Remember that show Life Goes On in the fucking 80s and 90s with Corky, and the kid had Down syndrome.
Well, Down syndrome people, like a lot of Down syndrome people are, they can live like somewhat normal lives.
Yeah, for sure.
But it depends if you go for the hardcore hectic ones, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Where you were, there are like grown-ups that have the like mental capacity of like a
child, and they have to be like in care like 24/7.
Yeah, so I think it might be tough for those guys to deliver a 4-page monologue. And to be honest,
I don't.
To be honest,
me and Esme don't. The fellows don't.
To be honest, it's sort of rude to put them to work like that. You know what I mean?
Or if that's their dream, maybe
you can earn in this family too.
No freeloaders.
Get this girl a job at a movie studio.
Oh my god. I mean, fuck. Maybe that's what she's angling for.
She said, or the film could have at least had a character confront the elf's dad as he hurls insults at buddies, but that moment never comes. Well, it kind of does come because the dad's like life falls apart and he's sort of the bad guy.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's not obvious. That's the thing about her. She heard about storytelling because the whole thing was the dad was being a dick, and then it like kind of comes around where his life sort of falls apart or whatever, and then he has to realize he's wrong as well. And Elf was good, but it's like, there's also her thing is like, what should happen is he yells at a buddy, someone comes, punches him in the face.
Yeah, like she needed a direct consequence. Like it couldn't be like the universe was giving him the consequence. Yeah. That wasn't enough for her for like the entire universe to be against him. It had to be someone be like, hey.
I know. Gonna take a quick second here to tell you about Fit Bod. New Year's is coming. We're all getting jacked. We're going to be jacked dudes, huge dongs, wrecking the floor of the gym, cuff lump. it's the beginning of a new year. It's never been a better time to get in shape. So start the year off right with 25% off a FitBod membership, which is, right?
Well, that's a nice deal.
They're not messing around with that deal.
Hanukkah's coming early or late.
Exactly.
For me.
Hanukkah's coming late. You could get yourself 12 memberships, 9, 8, whatever amount of memberships it is. So whatever your fitness goals are, I know that even if it's something small, a little bit goes a long way to being able to be in shape. I was getting a bit out of shape, and now I had to get back in shape just so my brain works better, so I'm not as tired, all those sort of things. So I like the fact that FitBod has different, workouts, and every workout it changes so that each one's better than the last. And the algorithm changes to update your fitness plan as you go. Whether you exercise 3 days a week or twice a day, every workout is scientifically proven to be better than the last. Personalizing training can be tough on a budget, and FitBod is only $12.99 a month or $79.99 a year. So, getting a personal trainer, you got to work around their schedule. It's a hassle. They're looking over your shoulder. Sometimes it's not fun. You want to work on your own schedule. Sign up now. 25% off your membership. Kick the new year off right. Get started with your customized fitness plan from FitBod. 25% off the membership when you sign up now at fitbod.me/boyscast. That's 25% off your membership at fitbod.me/boyscast. And second, I'm going to tell you about DoorDash, because we've gotten pretty badass promo codes here that are actually saving you money, and everyone uses food. Everyone wants to order food. You might have meetings, you got errands to run, you got chores to do, you got stuff to do. What's the secret to clearing your to-do list? A little help from DoorDash. You can get dinner, household essentials, and everything off your grocery list delivered. You know what I was thinking about, actually? Side note. Because it was kind of like, why don't I cook food or whatever? And I was thinking about it. It's like, well, because I don't really, and it's, every man should cook food. And I go, well, one of my favorite things to do is eating, and one of my least favorite things to do is cooking.
Yeah.
And it's as simple as that.
And cleaning.
I don't like doing I don't like doing my least favorite things.
Yeah.
And I like doing my most favorite things.
Also, in a lot of scenarios too, like if you're like single, like a lot of times you're like, when you buy gross, blah, 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 all that stuff, and then like X amount of it goes to waste, and you got to buy it. And it's like, it kind of like at the end of the day,
it might even out.
Kind of evens out.
And even if you do want to get groceries.
And if your time is worth anything to you, it's like.
Time is the most important thing in the world. It's off. We're high value men. We're fucking hustling and flowing out here. So get what you want to eat right now and right to your door with DoorDash. Along with the restaurants you love, you can get the groceries and other essential items delivered with DoorDash. Get drinks, snacks, other household items in under an hour with over 300,000 partners. So a lot of partners.
Partners. Hey there, partner.
Hey there, 300,000 partners.
Boom, boom.
Yeah, you can support your neighborhood go-tos or choose from the favorite national restaurants like Popeyes, Chipotle, Cheesecake Factory, or healthy options. Whatever you need, ordering is easy, and it will be left outside your door when you choose contactless delivery drop-off. For a limited time, our listeners can get 25% off and 0 delivery fees on their first order of $15 or more when you download the DoorDash app and enter the code BOYSCAST. 25% off up to a $10 value. So it can be a 10 free tenner coming from the boys, and 0 delivery fees. So it's going up again on your first order when you download the DoorDash app in the App Store and enter the code BOYSCAST. Why not do it? Support the sponsors, support the boys. Don't forget, that's the code BOYSCAST for 25% off your first order with DoorDash. Well, I've been sort of telling you about how I've been thinking about this a lot, the purpose of like laughter in general, because this conversation always kind of comes up. It's like, what is, the reason for laughter? And some people have taken this new thing where they go, well, the reason is like for societal change or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. And the truth is, well, any tool can be used for anything, but what is the reason the humans have that device? In general, I would say probably a good way to describe it is humans have the device of humor to deal with like scenarios that they can't change. So it's almost the opposite. Like, for example, if you take someone that's in jail, for example, right? And everything's so bad that sometimes you just have to laugh about it.
Yeah.
Like have you ever been in everything in your life goes so bad, you get splashed by just one of those days.
Yeah.
You get your wallet stolen, you lose your phone, you get splashed by this, your girlfriend breaks up with you. And at some point you just have to be like, Jesus Christ. Like, you just have to laugh because there's like no other way to deal with it.
Of course. Yeah, it's just like it's the release valve on terrible stuff. Although some people do not have that capacity.
No, I'm not saying, I think a lot of people don't, and a lot of people have blocked themselves off, but in a lot of ways.
But yeah, for me, like if I have that, all that stuff, I'm just like, laugh about it.
Well, in a lot of ways, the human body has that as like a mechanism to deal with unchangeable circumstances, right? That being said, anything, human emotion, structural thing can be used for whatever you want. So it's like, if you go, the purpose of this is this, and if you go, hey, we should be using this for this, we go, well, yes, I know you think everything should be used for that.
Yeah.
Like you think hiring should be used for that. You think that, to make women's lives better or whatever it is, right? You think everything should be used by that. So it's like, you don't really need to get specific where you go, laughter and comedy should be used for this. It's like, just say everything under the sun should be used, to better people's lives. But don't tell me that's the purpose of those.
No.
Well, I mean, you could say that about fighting, like the ability to fight. Like, why do we have it? And they could say, well, if you're a fighter, and you could, you should be using that to protect people. It's like, maybe, but that's not the reason we have the ability to fight predators. People like me and you that are fucking tough guys that can fight predators. The reason we have it is to essentially get more food and get your sperm and more
just
girls.
It's literally there were predators, there were things trying to kill you.
Yeah, anyways, that was my little rant I was going to
Yeah. Your professor's gonna like that
my comedy
dissertation.
rant. That could be a
Ryan's a professor at Clown College.
I had a few this month. I had some time to think. I was taking planes. I was on planes,
at your mom's
planes,
house?
trains, and automobiles.
At your mom's house?
Oh, by the way, I did stay there for 5. No, but I was thinking that was the other one. I was thinking about all the genders. I go, if there's fucking all these genders. So I'm there with my little cousin. I go, if you're fucking.
I love that Ryan's back at genders. Wait. Ryan's really just fucking stewing on how many genders there are. I go, these fucking turkeys.
No. Okay, this is the point. I go, listen. So let's say it's a given that there are all the genders or whatever, right?
Yeah.
I think it was because I was watching Louis' special. Me and Paul were talking about it, maybe why it got me fucking thinking about this. Okay, so let's say it was a given where you know what? It isn't binary. And there's all these different things, which is, different levels of masculine and feminine. Let's say just for purpose of argument, you say that's all true or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. That still wouldn't mean that you're better at picking it. So, because that was the contradiction for me, because everything
you're saying the person would not be better at picking it?
Why? They might be a little bit better, but they're not always right, because the whole deal is self-identification. But if it is self-identification, that sort of implies that it's not real. Right?
Yes.
Because if it's real,
it's literally what every critic of it has been saying.
You'd be able to diagnose yourself wrong. No, but I'm saying so you're saying that
people go, I'm a butterfly, and people are like, okay.
Okay, but I'm not saying that critique. I'm saying if you grant that it is real, that still doesn't grant that it's obvious that you'd be better at picking it. Imagine.
Well, you're saying it's closer to a fucking mental disorder.
Well, no,
where you
I'm
need to
not
go to
saying
a
that.
professional.
Well, I'm not saying it's a mental disorder. I'm saying.
It sounds like what you're implying.
No, if you said
I'd like that on the record, Your Honor. Ryan Long said that genders are mental
because even
disorder.
if you said it's a perfectly legitimate thing, right?
Yeah.
So you said. I'm this, right? How many people have said, I identify as non-binary, and then I actually realized I identify as this, okay?
Yeah.
So were you wrong before, or
it's part of the journey?
Did the minute you changed what you think you are, then it changed what you are? Was there no moment where you were saying I'm this, but you were wrong? Because if there is a moment where you go, I'm non-binary, and then you go, actually, I think I'm actually a girl. So for that moment that you were actually a girl when you were calling yourself all right, you know what I'm saying. I'll get
Tell
off
me
of
you
it.
were smoking weed in Canada without telling me you were smoking weed in Canada.
I'll get off it. I'm sure. I'm sure the people.
If you were a girl before and then you're not a girl.
All right.
No,
I'm sure the people
I
are sick of my fucking.
No, I kind of get what you're saying, but yeah, I don't know.
I was pushing it with 2 in a row of my theories.
Yeah.
I should have saved the second theory for the Patreon. That's more of the home for theories. I don't have to get the. I think the Patreon's a little better place for the theories.
That one's a complicated one.
Well, I think I cracked it.
Yeah. All right, go.
I cracked comedy.
You know what I want? I want you to fucking get a room of non-binary people and just make them sit through and be like, any questions?
I've got my lab coat and stats.
Yeah, you got your fucking your PowerPoint and you go real just charts and the whole thing. And you go, any questions?
I just get fucking fuck you,
fuck you. And you go, the doors are locked, so don't try and leave.
I can't imagine.
Literally, fire alarm goes off, fucking
right,
all their tactics.
Because that's the all right. I'm fuck it. I'm over.
The problem is I know, but they're straight up just you can't.
You're gonna fuck around and make me rant again.
They're just whatever. They're just you can't question what we say. That's the whole, like the underlying undercarriage of their whole thing is they go, this is it, and don't question my identity.
You also have to buy into there is no objective truth, I guess.
Sure, but they're also, and they're like, don't question, this is my identity, don't question it. If it's different in an hour, then that's what it is.
Yeah, and the minute my body changed and my mouth saying it changed at the exact split second.
Yeah, exactly.
There wasn't a microsecond
and that doesn't
where I was
matter.
off.
That doesn't matter because that's what it is now. And they're going,
Right.
that's what
So
it
you
is.
choose it as the whole thing, yeah.
They're like, don't try and analyze
But if you
this.
choose it, then there's no objective truth, and I guess that's their whole point.
Oh, yeah, these are very subjective people.
So we did this. So our boy, or a guy we know from the internet that was making some cartoons of our stuff, just put one out there that you should check out on the Boyscast channel. YouTube.com/the Boyscast with Ryan Long. This is the second one he's done, but it was about how demi-romantic and demisexual and demi-romantic or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. So I was cruising a little bit through the demosexuality. It got me fucking cooking on demisexuality again, right? And then I was cruising a little bit through the demisexuality.
You know what's so funny
threads.
is we've covered this so much, and if you said gun to my head, what is demi-romantic? I'd be like, just pull the trigger.
Right, you know what I mean? And gun to your mom's head.
I should be like, just kill me.
Yeah. Well, this is an accidentally for the boys.
Yeah.
And this isn't like getting into what demi is. This is a gripe that someone had. So they said, I love my demisexual husband so much, but sometimes it just hurts. So her husbands actually come out as demi. And as you're going to see, the husband is being able to use the demisexual to his advantage. Yeah. And this is the problem. Men, way too often, do what I just did. I go, there's all these gender, I'm doing this. When what you really should do is go, how do I use this to my advantage?
Exactly. That's why I use women's restrooms. Yeah. People are like, what are you doing in here? I'm like, I'm a woman right now.
There's a woman there. All you is, no, your shit drops like an atom bomb. Just
full mushroom cloud.
That was from fucking 2 years ago, too. Yeah. Last in, first out. So, yeah, deep. That's the thing. So, this guy, I don't believe for a second he hasn't just cracked the case, right? But what she says is, so my husband says that he's demisexual. I suspect that he might just be ace, which is the code for asexual.
Yeah.
Fucking ace.
Ace.
What happened to this girl? You went home, you didn't have sex with her? She's fucking ace, bro. What does that mean? Won't fuck. Yo, she's off. Dude, I fucking took this girl home. Fucking ace, bro. Oh, you fucked her? No. Asexual. Yeah.
She doesn't fuck anybody. You know what sucks too for this guy is if he did in fact crack this, he can't tell anybody.
Yeah, he can't.
It's one of those
maybe
things.
Maybe some of his bodies.
Maybe.
Well, he's living the life right now.
Can't trust them though. You're probably just like.
So he goes, husband says he's demisexual. I highly suspect that he might be asexual, but he doesn't claim that. So here I am. I also want to say that I love him very much. So she's getting that out of the way.
Yeah.
We are the best partners for each other in every way, but one. My sex drive is huge, and he doesn't desire to have sex with anyone. And even if he does, it's not a strong enough desire to act on me. So basically, this guy doesn't want to have sex with his wife.
Yeah.
And he's going with the old, demisexuality.
I mean, obviously nobody in the comments is this, but I'd be like, can you just post a picture just so we
of yourself? I'd love
so
a
we
picture
have an
of her.
idea of what we're working
What
with.
we're dealing with.
Just, for just color in the picture here. Just see what's going on.
Exactly, right?
Just an idea.
I'd love.
This guy's basically Al Bundy.
I actually was thinking that too. I guess we both always think Al Bundy, but I was kind of going through my mind. So Al Bundy's demisexual.
Yeah.
Like, it's basically some old guy doesn't want to have sex with his wife ever. She's gotten, she's put on a couple. Fucking it
is a known thing. The older you get, your testosterone level do decrease.
And the girls sometimes, there's a little crossover where the guys aren't into it and the girls get their little 45-year-old where they're hyped up again.
For sure.
Watch a few extra episodes of Sex in the City and be like, I could be a fucking cougar.
Absolutely.
So she's getting...
And the guy's just like, I just want to play golf.
Like, I just don't want to do this anymore, right?
Yeah.
And then she's getting in there. She's going, I tried everything, try to make it sexy, and comes in going, and the guy goes, my demisexuality makes me puke sometimes.
A weak gag reflex from my demisexuality.
A crappy joke that I've been saying.
Yeah.
Well, crappy, but like type that makes me laugh in the right context. That's Sam. well, I was saying that if you have to, I might have stage fright. So if I was going to pee on a girl, what I have to do is pee in a cup and then spritz it on her like a pee baptism. But then I was saying but there is, things you learn when you do freaky shit. Like, listen, if you are going to pee during sex, make sure you're one of the two people having sex. I was liking that idea. It's a good visual.
That's funny.
What the fuck? And you go, what?
What?
That's
Just Ryan in the corner.
just
Just the cuck, but you're pissing.
That's the cuck in the corner. So basically, if you say you're demisexual, it's sort of a catch-all to get out of sex with your wife, right? And they don't question the terms, right? Because
they do if they're not fucking super woke.
No, but if they are super woke, they can't, right? So if you have a girl that's any sort of that stuff, you can just say you're these things, and they go, no, you're not, and you go, oh, wow. Well, Ryan, I need you to fix the counter. I just identify as disabled. Why? I'm mentally
No, I'm saying,
disabled.
if you have a super woke chick who buys in all this nonsense, if you get a fucking regular person, they're going to be like, okay, then let's get divorced because I don't want this.
But you don't. You have a chick that's sort of woke like this
Yeah,
one.
that's what I'm saying.
And
That's
then
what you have
both
to
of them, and then they fight fire with fire, and and then basically at the end of the day, it's both you lying on the floor, no one's working, and you're both like, we're both disabled polyblobs.
Polyblob. Bring me my feeding tube.
You bring me my feeding tube. I'm actually more disabled mentally. They're both fully working body able
He's like
people.
in their 30s going to a retirement home.
Oh, she goes, he says that he still loves me and finds me attractive, and he says that it's not me, and I believe him. I just want to say,
Yeah.
it's you, honey. Yeah. I don't want to break it. Girl, it's you. When a guy says, I'm trying to fuck you, but he's still fucking me jacking off. He says it's not me. It's you, honey.
Just think, if you told Oprah the story, would she say it's not you?
She got, I got some fucking motherfucking news for you.
Oprah would tell you it's you.
He goes, and I believe him. He doesn't ever initiate. So I tell him he doesn't have to initiate because I don't want him to feel uncomfortable by advances or like he's failing for me as a husband. Also, there is the thing of like, if you're actually being real, this guy must hate her too, because there is the feeling bad for your husband. Suck it up and fuck your wife every now and then.
Of course.
The bare minimum. You got to put it down.
Yeah.
You put a nose plug. Even guys that have been
There's dudes potential
in the closet for 40 years that suck it up and give their wife a piping every now and then.
And they're like, it disgusts
Make
them.
her feel like a woman
like
again.
it physically repels them and they do it. There is an element too, because there is we've seen it a lot, because we don't know what point in their marriage there is. I don't think they say if they have kids or not.
I don't know.
But because there are a recently woke people.
You say the kids just wreaked havoc on.
No,
the
I'm just
Sniz.
saying maybe. No. I'm just saying maybe she wasn't like this, and then she's just progressively got woke, and he's kind of doesn't want to get divorced. People getting that.
He just
I don't this is arrangements
or
fine,
he's cheating,
or I don't want to get divorced, but I don't.
Or he's like,
want
I'm
this either.
demisexual. I'm having an affair with this girl named Demi that I work with.
He's like, I'm Demi. I'm gonna go play Call of Duty with the boys. Leave me alone.
Exactly. And he goes, I know he used to feel that way before he came out. So before he came out as demisexual. So he had a big official coming out party. And after many discussions, we agree that if he ever wants to come on to me, I'd love that. But there are zero expectations in our marriage for sexual encounters. But he hasn't. So she said to him, she goes, listen, if you ever want to come out, he goes, honestly, I'm glad about that. Let's make that pact. If I ever come out to you, she goes, just any time now. And then 2 years later, she's looking at her watch. She goes, you said there's no expectations. I go, there's kind of a little bit of expectations.
Yeah, I mean, if you could just formally come out.
If your girl says to you, hey, I would like this, but if it ever comes, it's fine. If it never comes, it's not fine. Doesn't have to be now, whenever it is. And you never do it, ever.
Yeah. Also, this more so goes for women than guys, but for ladies, if your guy ever comes out as anything, not a good scenario.
Yeah, coming out for dudes is insane.
Like a girl could be come out as something, you'd be like, yeah, whatever, bullshit.
But this girl's all in. She goes, and I'm not Demi, so I don't and can't, in brackets, understand what it's like to be Demi. So she's bought into what he must be going through. This guy's playing video games on his couch. She's in lingerie
It's
crying.
not the only thing he's playing. He's playing her like a fucking fiddle.
Like a fucking... And then so she's in the room, with the whipped cream and roses she bought. And then in her mind, she's thinking, I can't believe what he must be going through right now. This guy's got her wrapped up in a pretzel, my friend.
It's good to be this guy.
Yeah, accidentally for boys. I've never ever seriously thought of leaving him. Also, there's another part. Also, I'm polyamorous with his support. So they've got this thing where she's allowed to have sex with other men. She says she hasn't, but she's able to. So basically, they're roommates at this point, right? Yeah. And she goes, sometimes though, like when I find that he's masturbated recently, it hurts. This guy's jacking off playing video games.
I love how she finds out. She just like puts her hand in a fucking mug and there's a bunch of jizz. She goes,
well, that's even funnier. Where he goes, well, that's the thing. You go, but if you're demisexual, you go, why do you jack off? You go, well, I'm in love with myself. Well, that's the whole thing. You're supposed to have this like romantic interest to be. Well, and the other thing is like, it doesn't even really make sense that this guy's demi, like, because the whole thing is you're not supposed to be romantically. You want to have sex with people you're like really like in love with, and love them as a person. But he's like, you think she'd be like, so wait, you don't like me as a person then?
There also is some hint to be taken away here from the fact that she goes, I'm allowed to have sex with other men.
He goes, please,
but still no takers. And she obviously is saying that's me.
I forgot about that.
Right? She's saying that's me.
It's not hard to find guys with takers.
But like if you are a
she
woman,
blamed it on her city. She says, well, it's because of COVID, she said. And then she said,
we know fucking COVID's been a dry spell for every single guy we know. Yeah,
sure. COVID, you can
COVID, for sure. That's been an issue.
And she said there's a tiny dating pool where she lives, so there's a couple problems.
Or she has many pre-existing conditions. Wink.
Sometimes though, when I find out he masturbated, and I want to know that I love that part of him. And then the best part was the answers people gave him. So people were saying, people go, ask him when he feels the need to pleasure himself, let him know that you can do that for him. You know, there is a compromise. It shouldn't be solely what one person wants in a relationship. So basically, some people in the thing are saying, hey, why don't you, when he's about to masturbate, just get you involved. And he goes, we've had that discussion many times. He enjoys masturbation more than sex, and he just prefers to do it solo. This guy's laying down the law.
This guy's seriously like a real
piece of work.
This curmudgeon, just like, she's like, want me to take care of that for you? And he's like, no. Get out of here.
Get out of here. No, get out of here. I told you
it takes me 30 seconds.
I told you not to bother me while I'm playing my games.
I feel bad for her because she's just like, fuck.
Oh, yeah. It doesn't sound like this is the greatest relationship.
I mean, she says it is, though. She says it's the best minus this one
She likes every other part of him. That's so funny, though. She goes, sorry, honey, I just don't want to have sex. I'm just not that person. I just can't have sex. Anyways, let's turn on the lights. What are you doing over there? Nothing. Just demi shit. None of your business. Just demisexual
just exploring my demisexuality.
I'm just exploring my demisexuality over here. Fuck. And then there was one more that was making me laugh. Some dude who's for the boys in the chat group comes in. He goes, hey, I hope I can add some value here. I'm a demi husband, and I've also struggled with this. Some guy, I hope that was him though.
Yeah,
with the fake identity.
He goes, I'm also. It's funny.
I'm a guy too, perfectly normal.
The comments too are funny because like they're so vague. Like demisexuality is generally kind of vague. Totally. So they're all in the comments, kind of like defining it on the fly a bit.
On the fly.
They're like, but what about this? But this could happen. Like,
oh shit! And another one that people have been getting mad about is, so there's this article that you know how people call people like your people simps or whatever.
Yep.
He said, men who are too nice to women are called simps. Why this insult is problematic. And my original takeaway from this thing was they just, there's nothing more that bugs the blogosphere more than when there's like a new thing that they didn't come up with.
Yeah.
They hate new terms.
Well, also
that they're not in control
and
of.
also like applies to them more than others.
Right.
Like they don't,
Well, they're saying it's like simps is bad because it's basically misogynistic to call guys simps.
Sure.
And they don't really know what a simp is, but that's their understanding of it. They said, many of us are familiar with jokes about whipped husbands whoopsh, and phrases like nice guys finish last. But these nice guys now have a new insult to contend with. The controversial slang term simp. But whipped husband is like a little bit ironically called a simp, but that's not what it is.
No.
Like when you're really saying the guy's a simp, probably the most pure version is like sending girls shit on OnlyFans, that you've never met. Sending a fucking girl money that's never slept with you.
Yeah, like
you drive a girl around.
Stuff and yeah.
But even in real life, like you're the girl's best friend. You buy her all the presents, and then she posts the photo of you two, and then you
like a friend date, and you go like friends for life, like
yes,
that kind of stuff.
It's not like.
By the way, it is kind of simp. It's pretty similar to high value male.
Oh really?
Kind of. There's a
they think a high value male
is a simp kind of. They just wanted this fucking like punching bag who like does all this stuff and like,
that's a high value.
Not
male
like perfect, but a lot of similarities.
Yeah,
a lot of similarities.
Well, that's because there's even that thing where it's like nice guys finish last. That they're sort of saying they're like dispelling the myth, and it was like the actual reality is that. There's probably nice guys finishing last and mean guys finishing last, and there's nice guys that finish first and mean guys. But as far as what the saying means towards girls, it's like girls sort of like the idea that they tamed you a little bit, right? And they also like the idea that you're a little more nice to them than everyone else. It's not just like this guy's nice to everyone and everyone gets my attention. They might be attracted to that at first, but on average, I think girls sort of like the idea that yes, you're nice to everyone, but like you pay more attention to me, which makes them feel.
But also, when they're not interested in you, it works better to be mean to them than nice to them. It's just like it's a psychological thing that's not even specifically related to women, just people in general. It's like there's something about that, like then whatever negging or whatever. But like,
very few guys have been. Like,
I mean, I've heard a million girls be like, "Yeah, I don't know, he's such an asshole. I don't know why I like him." Like,
yeah. I've had many girls say that to me when I had their phones tapped, talking about me. But yeah, I'm not really asshole. But the ones that are.
I'm not saying like a little, but you're not a fucking doormat.
No, you're just unavailable. I was never like mean to them. It's like structurally mean.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But never specifically.
Yeah, you're not like literally like, "Oh, you fat pig," but you're like,
no, I'm not. I'm like,
you're just not like like she's like, "Oh, buy me a drink." You're like, "No,
the fuck out of here."
Like, but I'm saying girls like that sometimes.
Yeah, you go, come on. If it comes with the right confidence, not if it comes with the I will not.
Yeah, of course.
The girl goes, okay, this guy's weird.
Yeah, but if there's a lot of guys who'll be like, "Hey, yes, ma'am, I would love to buy you a drink. Do your friends want drinks too?"
How many girls have said?
And then they're like, "Ew," they're like, "It's gross."
Yeah,
they'll take the drinks,
thanks.
but
right,
you literally just like disgust them.
And then that guy is like, "I want to be with you," whatever, and you go, "No, I'm not interested." And then he just keeps being nice to her.
Yeah.
Buys her a thing, shows up at her place with roses, and then the only time that works out is when she's dating someone else and he's such an asshole. She goes, "Hey, I'll give this fucking dork a try."
Dude, remember fucking my ex? There's this dude who was like, who she like worked with like 5 years previous, who lived in Vancouver.
Putting in the effort.
Remember she sent her tickets to the Killers, floor seats at the ACC or whatever. She's
and then you went to them?
I went, and she like posted a photo, and I was like, oh, like that. I told her at the time, I was like, that hurt me on like a level just for him.
Did you do the fingers, the fingers in the vagina?
But it's like, I was like, she's like, yeah, he just like, he's just nice, and he sent me a pair of floor tickets for the Killers, and I was like, what? No, they don't. That's not a normal thing.
It's crazy, buddy. So she goes, which one thing I didn't know, she goes, this word simp derived from the word simpleton. That's something I did not know. The popular term began as a way to mock men who pander to women in an effort to sleep with them. But over time, the term has evolved, and simp is now used to refer to anyone who treats a woman with any kindness and respect.
See, I didn't know. The simpleton thing makes sense, but then I remember like when this got first on my radar, I thought it was because I looked this up because I was trying to find it, and it was it was an acronym for someone idolizing mediocre pussy.
That's good.
That's what I thought it was originally, and then,
simpleton doesn't really make sense. It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't exactly.
I don't think that's true. I don't think they still know what the fuck they're talking about.
No,
all they know is that people are buying them stuff, and there's a word out there that makes it stop.
Yeah, exactly.
They're like, shut up.
Yeah, for sure. But also, like, it's hard to really pinpoint how like vernacular like that like takes, especially slang, like where it starts, and like. It's unless it's literally like,
in some
a video
message board
or whatever, but usually these things happen slowly and organically.
Yes, and no, it does not. anyone who treats a woman with kindness and respect. They're trying to say, make it seem like a guy that's nice with girlfriends. Like, there's a difference between a guy that like buys his girlfriend and provides her a good life, and she's actually sick.
Yeah.
And fucking, then a guy who buys his girlfriend all this shit, does anything she wants, and she treats him badly, and it's like, you can't hang out with your friends. Yes, that would be a simp.
Yes.
Anyone who's getting bitched around might be in the simp category.
I feel like
but
those-
still mostly the people that are buying stuff with people for like, that they're not.
No, the
sleeping
moment
with.
you actually are like in a physical sexual relationships with someone, you're no longer a simp.
I think so. That's probably true,
that
too.
ends it. It's like either,
But you can still be simping. Like you could be like, oh,
simping,
you're
yeah.
simping for that. He's simping for his chick.
For sure.
I think you could be simping, but you aren't actually a simp.
No, yeah, it's not an actual definition
that?
of one. Yeah, I agree with that.
All right, we're gonna agree to agree on that.
Like my girlfriend likes to just jokingly call me a simp every time I do something nice for her.
We've all been doing that too, jokingly.
All just jokes, just funny jokes.
We've all, me and the boys also.
And the boys, yeah, really?
Actually, we have a group chat with her.
That'd be amazing.
Me, the boys, and your girlfriend have a group chat.
like all the guys.
We've all had a good laugh. She has pictures. She takes pictures of you with the credit card out at the grocery store. You ever buying at the Louis Vuitton store? Danny's there, and then she's
getting declined. I'm in the back fucking washing dishes.
She sends it to the group chat. We have a good laugh. There's Danny walking through fucking department stores with 90 bags.
like all the things holding the dog.
She's on her phone chatting with us. So he goes, if he compliments her, he is a simp. If he buys her late night cab home, he's a simp. Even if he buys his girlfriend flowers, he's a simp. So they're really trying to get out in front of this simp word by kind of being like, simp is a
Well, they're trying,
real,
and they're trying to make it this huge catch-all. Where
like, it's not really what's happening.
I love this is in USA Today.
In what world? The guy buys his girlfriend flowers, and everyone's like,
What a
"Oh fuck!" I
fucking
guess.
simp.
Yeah, did you hear about this simp? What do you do? Is buy a girl flowers? Went on her
You hear about
birthday.
this
Simp
guy-
life.
Yeah, you hear about this simp? He fucking asked his girlfriend to marry him. Fucking simp.
What
Got
a
her ring
simp.
too.
If he compliments her, hey, you have nice hair. You go, hey, can I speak to you for a second, Danny? Hey, if you want, what do you want to do in your private life? When we're at a restaurant, I don't want you simping around with your chick. Don't be telling her hair looks nice.
You're making me look bad.
Yeah, I mean, people are gonna start thinking I associate with simps. I'm a senior fellow of simps.
I'm a senior fellow.
They go, though this term may seem like a harmless joke, more experts are back at it. So they simp experts.
It's probably the same as the little dick expert from last week.
He's also a simp expert.
Simp
Little dicks
expert.
are great. Actually, being a simp's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I'd say so. Simp experts, some of Danny's people, say that it's damaging to equate a man's kindness with weakness. I'm so done with experts. It's like, if you gotta have the slightest bit of fucking nuance to be an expert at any of these categories, you go, what happened? It's like, there's this term simp. That sounds damaging. Even the expert says
Bringing
it.
the experts. Well, this is I think a knock-on effect
Expert.
of the whole just like kind of like university complex thing.
Yeah,
where
expert level
You
sophistry.
finish and you're just like, I don't know, I got to be an expert in simping or something. I don't know. Well, my education's worthless. Otherwise.
Yeah, they're sort of simping for all their students or whatever, buying them all their gifts, and they go, what should I write my dissertation about? And then they get a phone call. It's like, hey, do you approve this purchase to this credit card that you put all these people on? You go, I'm an expert simper.
Yeah.
So they said, when we simp shame, it sends us some simp shaming now.
Oh, okay.
It sends a message to men that caring about the plight or well-being of women is not a manly thing to do, says the Destin Garrick, the author of The Evolved Masculine. So there's like, he's like it's like sort of the beta manosphere.
No, yeah, totally. No, this guy is straight up just like, yeah.
There's the manosphere and then there's the beta manosphere.
This guy is literally, his book is just like, let her peg you on the first date.
Yeah. Exactly. That's what an evolved man would be. Mm-hmm. You know what I was thinking about pegging? Not to fucking it was just making me laugh, the idea that they go, pegging is like sort of so you can be gay, but you don't have to actually be gay. Like, you know what I mean? It's like you can get all the benefits of being gay without being gay, but it's like, the truth is,
is that the only benefit of being gay?
Well, that's the only bad part about being gay. If you actually break it down,
you're like, this doesn't compute.
Yeah,
it's actually the worst part.
Yeah, that's the only bad part about being gay. Aside from that, you're just hanging with your boy.
Yeah,
it's true. Like, if aside from the getting pegged, being gay would be pretty sweet.
Yeah.
And they go, what if you just have the getting pegged part? And you go, and then you hang. So you instead
potato.
But then you hang out with chicks.
There you go. This is none of the good parts about being gay.
That's the good parts of being gay, is hanging out with your boy.
Hanging out with your boys and
you know?
yeah.
I just want to, hey, you want to take a break from the wings?
It's like pegging. All the worst parts of being gay.
That's what
all
I'm
at
thinking.
once.
That's what if you ask me.
That's a theory.
No, that's what the evolved man guy says. It should be the exact opposite. To not care is the unmanly thing. Like, yes, no one thinks that it's like manly to, your girlfriend, like some chicks like walking home and she's about to get punched and you go keep working. I ain't no fucking simp,
Yeah.
That's like the way they're making it out to be. It's like your girlfriend's like, oh, I'm stranded in the middle of nowhere. Can you have pick it up? It's like, yeah, call a fucking simp because I ain't that dude, brother.
It's because I'm in real trouble. Yeah, and you're going to stay in real trouble. Bye.
Call me when you're ready to suck it, That's the way
I am, though. He goes,
the evolved man's got like a caricature of what he thinks men are like. Because they
no, but like women probably read the evolved man and they go, ugh, gross. I don't want this fucking loser. Like,
yeah.
it's like, it's not even women want this.
Well, also the other, they go, if this dangerous idea, so everything's dangerous too, right?
Mm-hmm.
If this this idea that every interaction with a woman is a social exchange, Reimer says, it reinforces the mentality that if I do something for a woman, she has to do something in return. Oftentimes a sexual favor is the context I've heard of. Yes. Okay. So, and then you go the other way around to these people that think they're into equality. Okay. Think about the other way around where a girl that all she does is buy guy stuff, blah, 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 everything. And he won't pleasure her. He won't hang out with her. He won't do anything. Would you say that it's dangerous to say that that's unreasonable behavior for her? No. All she does is dote over this guy and then he hits her and all this stuff and she just buys him food, makes him food, and she makes way more money and does all the other way around. She just nonstop buying him gifts. Would you be like, what's wrong with that?
Yeah, seriously.
Of course not.
Yeah, you'd be like something deranged about it.
Yes,
even more deranged.
Yes, so why would it not be deranged the other way?
Yeah. Also, these aren't all simping things.
Oh, they're not all simping things. They're just describing an unequal relationship and saying that's simping.
Yeah.
But yes,
if you're in a relationship, you're not a simp.
But it's the same reason. They're saying it's the same way then that like everyone's like, oh, we're going this, and you're like, I gotta go home.
Like the simping is, remember the Belle Delphine thing or whatever, where she sold her bathwater?
If
you bought the bathwater, you're a fucking simp.
Yeah.
Because guess what? She didn't bathe in that.
I'll tell you,
that was straight from the fucking tap.
We throw the simp out with the bathwater.
Perfect.
It is kind of the equivalent of when you go
like if you're on Craigslist buying like a woman's like used underwear that she wore jogging.
You might be a simp.
You might be a simp.
If your bank account statement and the times you had sex with her are both now at 0, you might be a simp.
You might be a simp.
If you've been in her driveway multiple times but never through the front door, you might be a simp. But yeah, the idea that it's not that it's unreasonable to it's almost like the context that they're using and they're dangerous is kind of what you do as a joke. Like your buddy has to go home at like 10 and everyone's gonna hang out later. He's like, I got to. I told my chick I'd be here. Everyone goes, bitch. Yeah. But you're kidding. It's just like anytime anyone has to stray from the pack, you're gonna get a little fucking ribbon.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you don't go, boys, this is dangerous what you're doing here.
Boys, you're putting me in danger. You're putting my girlfriend in danger. You're putting women in danger right now.
You're putting women in danger.
You're just putting women in danger.
Yeah, exactly. You're putting everyone in danger with this line of fucking rhetoric. So, and they say simp shaming is also a form of benevolent sexism, she adds, in contrast to hostile sexism, which is, I can't be around you, you're a woman. Benevolent sexism is this kind of stuff. So it's like
wait, is benevolent sexism like how ESPN promotes the WNBA even though nobody wants to watch it? Like that kind of thing?
No, that's benevolent equality.
That's equality. Got it.
Benevolent equality.
Got it.
Basically, their whole thing is stop telling men not to buy us stuff. They want to go back to the world where people can buy them stuff, and it's still like they're feminist.
And there's no like the motives are like fine. They're not like.
And it's not anti-feminist to want free stuff bought for you on the daily by some guy you're not fucking. That's actually pretty reasonable. Well, you have a boyfriend still, even.
Yeah, like just the bill splitting. That's got to end.
Yeah. well, the last thing is when we think of the emotions that are acceptable for men, we forget to take into consideration that we often teach them from a young age to bottle things up instead of expressing them with other people. So right now we have this, like same thing in A Christmas Story where the dad comes down, stop crying, be a man. Mm-hmm. Whereas what should be happening is you come home, what's happening?
And he goes, keep crying.
No, this girl goes, oh, yeah, keep crying. No, she goes, this girl at school turned me down and I'm really sad. He goes, all right, here's $30. What we're going to do.
What we're going to do is we're going to wait outside of her house until she falls asleep, and then she's going to wake up. We're going to follow her around all day to kind of get a pattern of what kind of stuff she likes. Then we're going to buy her something that she thinks is totally a surprise, and she'll have no idea that you picked the right thing perfectly.
Also, does she have a ride home from her real boyfriend's house? So, I'm going to lend you my car. That's what real masculinity
Always
is.
drive her to her boyfriend's house. Don't make her pay for an Uber.
Like a man.
Like a real man, you're going to drive her around.
All right, fellas. New Year's resolution, I'd say 3,000 Patrons. We're going to do a big tour of everywhere in America. I want to keep growing, more videos. I want to up the content, more street videos. These are all the things that I'm focused on. And I've been, even this week, I was kind of making all these lists in my head of what I could do better, and then again, stop punching the elderly. Those are my New Year's resolutions.
I want there to be on CP24 in Canada, they'd be like, a man punched someone. Can anyone identify them? And it's just clearly you at a fucking TTC station.
I got the socks showing. Yeah. Oh, that's the other thing, is to get my merch really up to snuff and get. Yeah. I'm spending a lot of time trying to figure that out. So we
definitely need a fucking low value a shirt that says low value mail with the finger.
I know. I was thinking about getting the low value mail one. So that's one of the things on the docket. But that's all this sort of stuff. All my New Year's resolution is just to keep doing a better job and keep systemizing, keep getting the parts of my life in check to make more cool stuff for the fucking dogs.
Fellows.
Danny, do you have any resolutions or just...
Do I have any resolutions? I actually want...
Make more money on crypto?
I lost so much money on crypto.
Stop making your friends lose money on SPACs?
No, I'm going to keep doing that. No, I want to start, I'm going to start I want to do a call-in show.
Oh, call-in's cool.
I want to do a call-in show. Not on the call-in app. I want to do it
I got you.
But just a bad advice call-in show. And I actually put it's going to be called Low Value Mail, but MAIL.
Okay.
And basically people can just send in questions. I already got a ton of questions, actually. I posted a thing on Twitter. Yeah. And people sent in a bunch of shit. And then, because it was remember I was telling you when during the pandemic, I was doing that on fucking the Reddit streaming thing, and I had at one point 70,000 people. All these people were calling in, but then they shut it down because I put my own phone number on, and that was a violation of Reddit because they're losers. But anyway, so I'm gonna do that. That's gonna be coming in January.
So there's New Year's resolution. All of our resolutions is more stuff for the boys.
More stuff for the fellas.
I appreciate y'all. Wish everyone a happy New Year. Peace.
Later.